The King and Queen of Belgium met with the survivor of the 2016 Brussels airport and metro station bombings Monday as the country prepares to mark the first anniversary of the attacks. King Philippe and Queen Mathilde met with Nidi Chapekar at the Royal Palace in the Belgium capital. Chapekar, a flight attendant, came to symbolise the attacks as photos of her covered in blood and dust came to dominate front pages around the world. The meeting comes 2 days ahead of the first anniversary of the attacks. It's one of a string of planned commemoration events. On the morning of March 22, 2016, 2 bombs exploded at Brussels airport. Another went off just over an hour later at Malbeek metro station. 32 people were killed in the incidents. Islamic State militants claim responsibility for the attacks. In the aftermath, security was increased in the city and a heavy military and police presence is still in place.
So as it says, this particular woman is the woman in the yellow jacket that the picture was taken and was described as being iconic by the Indian news station. And what I find interesting about this news story is that she's gone to meet these royal members to celebrate the anniversary of this particular bombing. Now bear in mind that this bombing happened exactly a year before the Westminster attack. Now this particular meeting occurred 2 days before the actual anniversary. So you've got to put yourself in the mind of these psychopaths that do these things. She's there 2 days before, because if you can imagine, if she actually went on the exact anniversary, which would be the proper thing to do, her story would have been completely overshadowed by the Westminster attack. And bearing in mind that this particular report is from Reuters, I find it interesting that they use this particular phrase.
As the country prepares to mark the first anniversary of the attacks.
Are they actually meaning that they are marking the anniversary with another attack? Then it rounds off the video by just reminding you that there are in fact armed police still out there. So this next news article, again, it's to mark the anniversary of this particular event, except this was a day before the anniversary. So this is what I'm saying, I don't believe this is a clash of schedules. This is get it in before the Westminster attack, otherwise it would be totally pointless to do in the first place.
Flight attendant Nidi Chapekar was one of 270 people wounded in last year's airport bombings. She suffered burns all over her body and a broken foot. This image of her became symbolic of the carnage of that day. Now, as the city prepares to mark the one-year memorial of the Brussels attack, Chapekar says she's looking forward to returning to Brussels and meeting other victims.
It is an opportunity for us to meet people, to clear that barriers, what we have in our mind, to clear that block we have, to open the curtains, and that's what I feel. So I believe it is an important moment for me this way.
Brussels will be a very different place than how she last saw it, an airport filled with busy travelers rather than rubble. But as she has made a 70% recovery, she has a positive outlook on seeing the place where it all happened.
I've come to one conclusion is, this is your life. Either stay with that feeling that I've just got it, I have to live with it. Or struggle, fight with it, find new ways and live the life. That's what I feel.
Chapekar plans to write a book and resume her passion of flying again. Bonnie Ghosh, Associated Press.
So again, not much to gauge from the actual story itself, but what I find weird, and it's the topsy-turvy world that we live in, is that this particular photograph, and they're making great emphasis onto how injured she is based on this photograph, and her feet look the worst part of her body, don't get me wrong, they look like they've got something on them, they're dirty and everything else, but when you actually see her, she's wearing these stupid gloves, yet her feet are completely uncovered and fine. Surely it's got to be the other way around, but then if it was, then you wouldn't get the effect, because they'd just look like shoes. But the fact that she walks around wearing these gloves, it's a symbol, it's a prop, that's all it is, just to make out as if she has in fact been injured. When you actually look at that picture, her hands look fine. This is forgetting the fact that a bomb has managed to blow up her jacket, but the front of her seems to be completely fine as well. But you see, the manipulation of it doesn't end there really, because like people have pointed out in the past, what about this woman on the mobile phone? One of her hands is covered in blood, but no one's taken any care to her whatsoever. There's no focus on her whatsoever. It's all about this woman in the yellow jacket. I'll end this video with a final interview that she did 3 months after the attack. In the description box on YouTube it says that 15% of her body had been burnt. But what I want to point out the most is the acting element of it. She's recounting what happened at the time, and after a few minutes, you're going to realise that you're not going to be able to follow what she's saying. She is just saying words and hoping something sticks. It's very, very strange, but at the end of the day, whilst Americans crisis actors have got Hollywood, India have got Bollywood, so they're not going to be short of actors either.
The Islamic State carried out attacks on the Brussels airport and subway station in March 2016, killing 32 people and injuring more than 300. Jet Airways flight attendant Nidhi Chafikar was among those who were injured. In fact, she went on to become the face of the terror attack. She has spoken out for the first time. In an exclusive interview to Anuradha Sengupta, she recounts what happened when the bombs went off.
My husband, he told me on the 16th of April, before he could come here, he said, "Do you know how we came to know?" I thought maybe, somebody would have given a call. So he said, "No, your picture was all around, It was published in all the newspapers." I was like, "My picture?" He said, "Would you like to see?" I said, "Yes." He showed it to me, and I was stunned. I was stunned to have a look at my picture. Was that me? Was that much of effect onto me? My eyes, which were grieving for help, my face, which was actually in agony, in pain. I was like, there is no life which has been covered. It was showing all other aspects, but not an aspect of being a human. It was something which was so deep in pain. It was shocked.
Have you been advised to relive and narrate the story, or am I going in disturbing things for you?
No, because it's like people ask, they want to know what exactly happens. But if you go deep inside the story, definitely the cries, the howl of those little children, the mothers actually trying to find out their children, that troubles you. That how, I want to ask a question to everybody. Are we human beings? I'm sure everybody would say yes. If we are human beings, let's take it this way. I stay here, somebody would be staying far away from me. But definitely, once, maybe you say weekly or monthly at least, somebody would be praying. Prayers remain the same. The attire of a person may be different, but still prayers remain the same. The places, the origins may be different, but still prayers remain the same. The place of worship, the gods, you say, they may be different, but still the prayers remains the same. And in return, as everybody feels, the gods are different, but the blessing, the boons, everything remains the same. So why are we putting everything in a scenario where nothing would be left tomorrow? And I don't want that this should happen. Let flourish, let live, let others live too.